Hello, welcome to the English department at Heathcote School. I am Miss Bashall, the Director of English. So what is A-Level English Language? A-Level English Language is very different from GCSE English Language. The A-Level is broad and insightful, exploring how language works in real life. English is a complex and beautiful language, and as users, we don't usually think about how we communicate and how the language is put together. That is our job at A-Level, to deconstruct the language from spoken to written, exploring accents and dialects, understanding English as a language of the world, as well as analysing how young children, from babies to toddlers, grasp language and the stages they go through to become competent users. A-Level English Language will make you reflect on your own practices as you become experts at understanding how we use English in our everyday lives. Here are some examples of career choices our students move to once they've completed their A-Level studies. It obviously counts towards UCAS points for your degree, if that is your chosen pathway. However, we have students who want to become speech therapists, or writers, or journalists. As with most A-Levels, we would expect you to achieve at least a grade 6 in GCSE English Language. So what does the course consist of? Here's an outline. Paper 1 is called Language, the Individual and Society, which is broken into 2 sections. Section A explores a range of different types of text, looking at audience, purpose and form. We then deconstruct the language, including syntax and grammar, to gain meaning and representation, which is simply understanding the relationship between the reader and the writer, and how the writer clearly states his purpose of the article so that the reader receives the same message. In the exam, you will answer 3 questions on 2 sources, with the third question being a comparison. Section B explores child language acquisition, which is understanding how children acquire language, in particular speaking and writing, from birth to about 5 years of age, with a clear focus on theories such as Skinner and Bruner, who underpin our studies. Overall, Paper 1 formulates 40% of the A-Level. Paper 2 is called Language, Diversity and Change, and it explores language in a wider context, looking beyond your personal use of language. You will cover 3 units, which are Language and Gender, Language and Occupation, and Language Change. Similar to Section A, we'll explore many theories, such as Jennifer Coates, who has conducted much research on the difference between male and female use of language, such as turn-taking and interruptions. Paper 2 also forms 40% of the overall A-Level. And finally, you have the non-exam assessment unit, called Language in Action. This is 20% of your A-Level, and it is made up of 2 pieces of coursework. The first is an independent research project, where you choose your own topic of interest. In the past, we've had research projects on political discourse, analysis of pop music, as well as analysis of sports commentaries. The whole study is underpinned by language, focusing on semantics, lexis, grammar, phonology and syntax. Similarly, the second piece of coursework is also an independent study, but this time you have a bit more control in the sense that it is creative writing. Therefore, you will produce a piece of original writing and a commentary, and in the past we've had students write an extract from a novel or travel writing or a persuasive piece. Overall, the word count for your independent research and your original writing is 3,500 words. So, this is a typical example of an extract that we might study under child language acquisition. In this extract, we have Layla, who is 2 years and 5 months, and she's just been taken to her bedroom by her father for her afternoon nap. Now, clearly we can see that Layla is tired and therefore decides to entertain herself with her toys. So we've got Layla moving around in her bedroom. She calls her toy Iggle. And then she puts on a voice for one of her teddy bears. In Igglepiggle's voice, we have a response. Yes. In her own voice, singing. He, sleep, go to sleep. In Igglepiggle's voice, Iggle can't sleep. So Layla continues like that, entertaining herself in her bedroom. And our interest is how she navigates her way around with her language whilst entertaining herself. Now, if we look at this example here, we've got two babies crying. So if I just highlight that for you there, two babies crying. So as a linguist, we're going to be interested in looking at how Layla has acquired her language. Now, if we look at two babies crying, we can clearly see that Layla is able to understand the use of plurals. So at the end of babies, she has put her S. She's clearly used her S. So I'm just going to put plurals there for you. Okay, and that is correct. That's what we do. When we've got one apple, we want to say it's more than one. We say we got from apple to apples, from ball to balls, and so on. Quite often, in some cases, we put the numerical value, just as Layla has done there. So we've got two babies. But when we look at this, we've got two babies crying. Now this S here, this plural, has become a little bit of a problem for us because we don't say two babies crying, we say two babies crying. Okay, so we can see that Layla may have overgeneralized the rule. So we can say that she's overgeneralized the rule, and by that we mean that Layla understands the rule of making how we turn something into a plural, and she has continued to do that because in her mind she's got two babies and they're both crying. So therefore we can understand why she's done that. As Layla becomes older and becomes better at her use of language, she'll secure that. Now if we were to link our theories to that, we can link Chomsky. Now he talks about about babies, about people are born. We are born with what he calls a language acquisition device. And he talks about the rules of grammar, how we all know the rules, and they will just become more secure in our understanding as we become older. And just obviously as we use language more and more. We could also link another theorist, Jerome Bruner, who talks about how language is acquired through conversations, through social interaction. One could argue that if Layla's dad was in this room or her mother was in this room, they may correct her with that S, with that plural, and that's the way Layla would have become better and more secure with her language. That's just giving you a very brief snippet into the way we study child language acquisition. I hope you have enjoyed something I've showed you here, and I look forward to seeing you in September. Thank you.